Okay,
What is up, everyone? Welcome to Reality Room Podcast with Paul.
and Nate.
And today, go ahead.
And so you might think this is a little bit different, seeing my face, not hearing my voice, and just hearing instead of just hearing my voice. But basically, great start. But basically, this is a day one cast assessment of the cast for the system Washington, D.C. This season, we have 14 contestants, not 12 or 13 like the past two. And there's a special little reason for that. But basically, we're giving my thoughts and Paul's thoughts as to what we think that the game will kind of turn out to being, and how the contestants will generally do in comparison to the rest of the cast. So I'll also be explaining a couple of the twists and maybe some of the reasons why we casted some people. So you'll get a little bit of an insight onto what my production team thinks about when we are casting people for the system.
That's right, guys. And I just want to let everyone know I am going in blind into this. I've never seen the show before, but I've heard Nate talk to me about it, and it seems very interesting, and I'm excited to go through this cast analysis with him. So right. with that, you want to get started?
Yep. So we're going to be handling the new contestants first, and we're going to be going in alphabetical order of those. So the first person that we're going to be going over is Bill. So Bill, he's the first member of the Prison Party. This season, we are splitting them up into two different parties, the Prison Party and the Popularity Party. And we'll get to how they kind of split up later in the whole cast assessment. But basically, Prison Party is in blue, represented by a blue diamond, and then Popularity Party is in red, and they're represented by a red heart. I want to make this very clear, these parties do not represent any party that is currently real in Washington. These are completely made up. They have no correlation, so don't look into it whatsoever.
However, if you do want to start this party after this season, just based on the events that happen, you guys can feel free to do so. All right, so first impressions on Bill. Well, I like he's dressed very nice. Looks very professional here. I believe he said in his describe himself thing, he's obnoxiously competitive, so that could get under some people's skin. Nate, what are your thoughts?
Okay, so Bill is very interesting. He was someone that we were very, very excited to see apply. Bill is an English teacher, so right there, he's you kind of already know that he's very well spoken, and he has some experience in games, not a lot. But he kind of knows who he is. He's very talkative. He likes to play hard. Going into it, I thought he would be a little bit more friendly with people in terms of like just getting to know people, and I think I was a little right on that, but not also right at the same time. But the thing is, he is a former Sequester player. He played in season 11, I believe, so he's one of the 3 for the season, and he's also a huge super fan of the season. Of the system. He is always like hitting me up on Facebook, Twitter, and just being like, "Yo, I love this episode. Like, how exactly? Like, is there more info to it? Blah 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 blah. Like, I love this person. I don't like this person." And just giving me all his theories for what could possibly happen for the rest of the season. So he is very much a super fan, and he knows everything about the game.
All right, well, that's pretty interesting, and I also see here he says he's like a nice guy most of his life, wants to try like switching it up a little bit, and I appreciate people who are always willing to like take risk, like both in games and in life, and I feel like he's really really twisting himself in order to progress himself in this game, and I think they'll probably get him decently far.
Speaking of the risk-taking part of Bill, Bill's a poker player. So that I thought that was very interesting, the fact that he's a teacher, so he's very well-spoken, but he definitely has a good head on his shoulders in terms of bluffing and strategy. So I'm hoping he kind of brings things in. Going off the first day, though, there are people that appreciate Bill, and then there are people that don't appreciate Bill. the people that do appreciate him are very appreciative of the fact that he's talking to them, that he is just giving them information, wanting to collaborate as much as he possibly can. He's very much like a team player, but he's very much a team Bill player. He's someone, if I had to liken him in terms of strategy, I don't think that he's exactly like this person. If I had to liken him to someone that is to a past contestant, he's probably very close in strategy to Noah Salvatore from season 1.
Oh boy!
If you're not familiar with the system, Noah won season 1. And unfortunately for Bill, we have someone who played season 1 against Noah in this season, and that being Max, who firsthand knew what Noah was about, and knew Noah was a threat in that season. Unfortunately, was not able to do anything about it. But Bill is playing very similarly, and I think he needs to realize that this is not the same cast as season 1. It's not a cast full of under the radar players who don't want to share information or just going to Bill for information. It's a bunch of people who want to play and want to play their own game. So,
yeah. All right. That sounds like a good breakdown of Bill. You want to get to our next contestant?
Yeah. Let's do it. So the next person is Blake. Okay, so Blake is the first member of our popularity party. He is another former sequester player. He played season 1. And however, he's a lot more experienced than either of the other 2 sequester players in the fact that he's been a part of the online reality gaming community for a very long time. Blake has a lot of experience, and out of all of them, I think this season is probably going to be the first time that sequester players don't mesh well. Just because Bill is very, like, he likes talking to everyone. Blake is very much the exact opposite of that.
So if I remember correctly from, and I have seen some of the sequester seasons, I remember Blake was very, like, villain type.
Yes, yeah.
So, but he didn't, like, come off that way to the other contestants at the time. But, you know, now it's a little more out in the open that he's kind of like that type of player. So now he could, like, be more open and kind of, like, embrace that reputation.
Yeah, and Blake, the big reason why we casted Blake was because he knows this. He knows himself as a player, and that's someone that we kind of want. That's someone that we look for. We either look for someone that knows themselves to a T, or is so blinded by their own version of themselves that they have no idea who they are. And it's really funny to see both of those because you can kind of predict which type of player that they are, but or how well they're going to do. But Blake knows himself. He knows that he's a villain. He knows that people don't always appreciate his sense of humor or the way that he talks to them. But he also knows that because of the way he talks, the stuff that he says is completely it's mean-spirited. It's not nice in any way, shape, or form. But the way that he says it, it sounds like a joke. And he could be roasting the crap out of you for 30 minutes straight, but you'll be laughing just because of the way that he talks. So yeah,
so he's got a way with people, kind of like bringing them in, even when he's saying like these really awful things about them. That's a really cool quality to have.
Yeah, and it's not like he put it to practice and he trained himself. It's a very natural thing for him. It's not something that you'll find in every single person. It's not something you can learn. It's something that it's part of his personality. So
his everyday life.
So I'm hoping Blake sticks around just from an entertainment standpoint, because Blake is going to be very entertaining. He's going to be funny. People are going to be like, oh, that jerk. But he's going to be like kind of like that person you love to hate but want to see stick around because he's the villain that everyone's going to enjoy watching.
Absolutely. All right. So let's want to go to our next contestant? Let's
move on.
So, all right. It looks like we have Brian from the popularity party. Yep. Looks like he's a chemist / chemical engineer. Yep. So he's like a really, really smart guy. Mm-hmm. I don't know. First impressions. I mean, I don't really know much to say here. Looks like he's decently well dressed. Mm-hmm. He says he always likes to think steps ahead, so maybe he's like a planner, thinking out his moves. Yeah. What do you think?
Brian is very much someone that likes to. He's another person that knows exactly who they are. But he is a long-term game player. He's playing for the long term, and he wants to win. He wants to get, at the very least, jury if he can't win. If Brian goes home before jury, it will be because someone makes a big move. That's basically what it is. He is a very big personality. People really like him. And even if they know he's a good player, which some of the other contestants are onto him, it's so hard to get rid of him because his social game is usually just very, very good. He's very likable. He gets along with many different types of people. So
I like how he describes himself as like an adult who behaves like a child online.
Yeah. He's very much someone who he's very blunt. He's very blunt, and right. Some people might not appreciate that because they like to beat around the bush. But he's someone who wants, if someone has a problem with him, he wants to resolve it as soon as possible.
Okay.
So, yeah. Also, an added fact about Brian: he's no longer a chemist. He's actually went back to school right before the start of the game, and he is studying film. So.
Oh, that is a big change.
That is a big change. So he's in the middle of a big transition in his life. So he'll be interesting to see play the game because he's kind of rediscovering himself, and it's I hope we kind of see that a little bit in the game, just because it's really cool to see someone who's in that whole part of their life.
That's kind of interesting because it sounds like from what you're creative, puts himself out there, and now maybe he can like transition that into like his new workplace. So that's like in the future. That's actually relatively, it's pretty cool. So how far do we think he's going to get?
Again, I think if Brian is a pre-juror, I will be shocked. I really will be shocked. I think he's setting himself up really well. I think he's just feeling out everyone. Unfortunately for him, that might come back to bite him because the system is extremely fast-paced, especially this season. This season, we're a little bit different. Usually the first round, we give them four days. And this time around, we're only giving them 3. And
okay.
that might not seem significant, but it is. It is very, very significant change because that's 24 less hours you have to connect with people, and that's 24 less hours that you have to strategize. So that's
are they only able to communicate with their parties or with anybody?
They can communicate with anyone. So this is not Survivor format. They're in 2 different parties. They are in 2 separate chats in terms of that, but they have the main chat like usual, and they can communicate with anyone they want at any point in time because everyone will be voting when chamber results are announced. So it doesn't matter what party you are, you can save whoever you want.
All right. Sounds good to me. All right, so we'll make it on to our next contestant.
Yep. Next is Cody. So Cody in real life is a friend of mine, and I am close to him as a person, and so I'm gonna try to not like go too deep into like how that affects my decisions, but basically like it's a little skewed. But Cody is someone I'm actually really excited to be playing. He applied for season 2, was an alternate for season 2, and then he applied again for season 3. We were very excited that he applied again because we did want him on a season. It was just last season wasn't a good season for him. But Cody is a an education major, math education, and he's very relatable. He's got a very good head on his shoulders.
Says he's also like a
kind
of like people. Oh, it says he says he's like a psych student, so he can probably like read people. Would you say that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. He's a very good read on how people view him, and he is very analytical. If you message him something, he will like dissect it letter for letter. So he takes his time. He makes sure he has all of his information correct, and then he moves forward. And he is a very good idea, I think, of where he stands with pretty much everyone that he's talking to right now. So I think Cody could be a pre-merge boot if he fumbles a little bit. But again, I think he's very likely to go deep. And I think just because of the analytical nature he has. Right.
Well, we got to remember, not everyone can go deep, Nate. But he also says he's like a nerd type. He says he enjoys gaming. Has he played any of these types of games before?
Yes, he also hosts his own game. It's a survivor themed game called Annihilation. I've played it. He does a very good job with it. And I have played against him as well. I eliminated him from a past game. But he's a very good player, and it's very rare when he's out early. Very, very, very rare. So
all right, so I guess we'll be seeing a lot of him then.
Mm-hmm.
So that should be pretty exciting. He'll read people with his total psych skills.
Yeah.
All right. Let's jump on to our next contestant.
Number 5 is Don. So Don is someone, basically, we kind of recruited him. I was trying to get him to apply, and he did apply. I'm very, very excited for Don. He's going to be entertaining. Like, it's just the way he talks. He's just a funny guy. I don't know how well he's going to do. But he is someone that, like, no matter how long no matter how,
he'll bring the entertainment this season. Basically, he says he's like party loving. Mm-hmm. He says he does logistics for the U.S. Army, which is actually very, very impressive. And thank you for that, sir. So I love people, like, not only just the players, like the people that play really, really hard. You know, I mean, everyone appreciates the people that play hard, but I also love the people who are out there to entertain. Mm-hmm. Because the people that entertain, like, makes the show worth watching in a way, and they're the ones that take, like, these risky moves, and maybe you don't know what direction they're going to go, and it's that unpredictability that really brings like a spice, you know, like a spice to a season. Exactly. I think this guy can definitely be that spice for the season. So I'm hoping he lasts for a pretty decent amount of time.
In this season, like, just looking at how he's meshing, no one dislikes Don. I think he's very, very likable for the rest of the cast. Just because I don't think if anyone said that they don't like him, it's mainly because of a strategic reason, and it's not because they don't dislike his personality. So he's someone that like just one of those people that no matter how far he gets, you're going to see him for like a good part of the episode. He's gonna have funny confessionals. Like it's like Megan from season 1 level of like how entertaining he's gonna be. So yeah.
All right, it's definitely something to look forward to then. And you know, like I said, I am hoping he gets far. It's not like a prediction that he is. It's just me saying, you know,
we want to see him. He's just gonna be fun.
Yeah, and or maybe he'll be targeted because of his likability. Yeah. Who knows? And I guess with that, we'll make it to our next contestant. Yep. Looks like we got our boy Dylan here.
Yep.
So you want to talk a little bit about it?
Yeah. Okay. So Dylan was another person that we kind of recruited to play the season. And the reason was because like this is another person that I am friendly with in real life. Dylan has a reputation in online gaming, specifically around minis, and it's not a good reputation. He's not bad controversial. He's good controversial. Like all the controversy that is surrounding him is like just strategic. Like people don't trust him in games because he likes to start drama. He doesn't like to, but it's always game related. He never goes after anyone for a personal reason.
So it's it's like entertaining in like another way. Then.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people are kind of tiptoeing around him right now in the game because they're not sure if they're going to get the good strategic player of Dylan, because he can be that player. He can be someone who's very good in the game, very loyal, very strategic, or they're not sure they're going to get the I want to stir the pot Dylan. And that's why they're just kind of feeling him out at the moment. But I do think that's going to give him some breathing room.
He does seem to have like a little conceited air around him, like thinks highly of himself. Do you think that could be like a detriment to his game, or do you think he goes far beyond that? Like he acknowledges that I think I'm great, but I think I'm great because I can do all this.
I think it's the latter there. Cool. He has a lot of potential to be a good player. He really, really does. And if he's able to even like the stir the pot part, if he can use that like a weapon, and like push people's buttons. So yes, it makes him look like he's a jerk and like could stir like and has the ability to stir the pot. If he has information, he can weaponize it and then really, really make somebody else look like a bigger target than him. And he's really just, and I think he's kind of taking this a little slow, which for him, I am glad he's doing that. Just because I think he knows what his reputation is, and I don't think he wants that to haunt him in this game, and I think that's good.
All right, that's fair. But he's one badass bitch.
Yeah.
All right, and with that, let's make it to our next contestant,
Eric.
Eric. Ooh, I like this guy. Give him the thumbs up. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So Eric is our third sequester player. He played the spinoff, the Black Hat, which unfortunately never aired. But he is connected to the other sequester players, but already people are making him out to be a target. And it's just because of his reputation. He is someone, he's named as someone that's loyal, but loyal to himself.
Ooh, okay.
So he's not like, a lot of people view him as like, he's got that weird like image where like he's trustworthy, but he's not trustworthy type of person. And I'm hoping, I don't know how well Eric's gonna do, and that's I'm just concerned based off the first day, just because he could easily be, if he ends up at the chamber, he's an easy target.
I mean, he also describes himself as being like a little socially awkward, so maybe he's not taking advantage of like those of the 3 days as well as the other players are too. So it's another.
I disagree. I disagree that he's socially awkward. I think that's
what he said.
Oh yeah, I disagree with him on that. Like,
Eric, you're wrong.
I don't think he's socially awkward. I just don't think that people get him type of thing. He's a big fan of puns. And terrible puns as well. So he is but he's going to be fun to watch. People are going to groan with his puns, but he has a good head on his shoulders. He's very hyper strategic. But he's going to be fun to watch, I think. And I'm like, again, I'm just nervous for him because I don't think he's going to make jury. I really don't. Just the way things are kind of happening.
I mean, it's hard to get out of that hole when you're already an early target.
Yeah.
I mean, it does happen, and when it does, it's always a great story. So if he does make it out of that hole, it's probably a very positive thing for him if he makes it farther.
Exactly. So moving on, I think, to Ivy.
All right. Ivy from the Prison Party. 18 years old, English student.
Well, she's currently 19 because she turned 19 during the casting process. But Ivy, she was someone, she applied based off of alumni recommendation. So we're very appreciative to the alum that recommended the game to her. She was one of those people that when we got her into an interview, we were going to cast her. Like we're very excited for Ivy to come in. She's a great personality. She's very likable. The issue is that she's a very big personality.
Okay. So,
yeah.
So big personalities are always, and again, it's an entertainment factor here, but it looks like she can kind of like be nice, but can turn on you like on a dime, basically.
Would you say not like that. It's not quite like that. It's more of like, people know who she is, like when she walks into the room. Like she's like, they know she's in the game. And I hate to say this because I want her to do well, but she's my prediction for the first boot.
Oh.
So you're gonna see some people grumbling about her probably in the first episode. She's very talkative. And she likes to dominate a conversation. She's an actress. She likes to be the person in the spotlight a little bit. But I want her to do well because she's very entertaining. Yeah. She's a very smart player, but she's very strategic. But you know who she's friendly with. It's very apparent who she's working with based off conversations she has in like main calls and stuff. She doesn't really know how to hide that. And people are already like, yeah, she's talking a lot. I know where she is.
Talks too much for her. She talks too much for her own good, basically.
Basically, yeah.
Doesn't know when to like zip it for strategic reasons.
Yeah.
Okay, that's well. If she gets along with if she just works with everyone, that's no problem.
But no, I'm hoping Ivy is not first boot, but based off of the first day, she did not leave a good impression on quite a few people, which is very unfortunate.
Oh, all right. Sorry, Ivy, but you never know. You could come back and totally prove Nate wrong and totally win the game.
Yeah. Again, I hope she does. I hope anybody proves me wrong. So that's the thing. Unless I was hoping they do well in their first boot, but anyway.
All right, let's get to our next contestant. Looks like we got Kamani. Am I saying that right?
That is correct. Yes. Kamani applied. We're just by himself. He's a fan. He's a casual fan. He knows of the game. He knows how it works. I'm excited for Kamani because he's very, very intelligent. He knows how to hide his cards. I think people know he has cards, but they're not sure what they are. And that could be good, but I don't think when those cards are unknown, it's either going to make you a target or it's going to be great because people don't know if those cards are good for them. And
so it's like an unpredictability thing. It's like, hey, maybe I could take a risk and keep him in, and maybe he's with me, or maybe I don't want to take that risk.
Yeah. I think this season is going to be sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think this season is going to be full of wild cards where people are not going to be quite sure where everyone else stands. And Kamani's definitely one of those wild cards. And I think I definitely think it's going to benefit him because I've been seeing people like talk about him, but not in a negative light. So I think they're more neutral about him because they kind of want to just see how he talks, how he pans out. But I think generally speaking, he's going to be. I think he's going to be someone who's in it for the long haul.
I think the unpredictable, but with players in general, am I cutting out?
Yeah, you cut out for a second.
I'm just saying the unpredictability factor. I think in him and in other players, I think that's like a positive aspect of what this season could be, because it could mean that things could change like very, very quickly. And maybe you should pay a little, and we pay a little more attention to what people's conversations are. And maybe we don't, and people are saying, they're telling one person and one. Not one. Sorry, I'm fucking cutting out here.
It's okay.
All right. Anyway, I'm just saying the unpredictability factor is good for this season, and I'm fucking excited for it.
All right.
In less than fucking like 5 sentences.
Okay, Kayla.
All right.
Moving on. So you can introduce Kayla this time.
Party?
Yeah, you cut out again, sorry.
All right. So Kayla's from the popularity party. Her picture shows a kind of like a humorous personality, which is probably it's pretty good thing to have until someone is not loyal, which I mean, yeah. What does that mean?
But so Kayla is an absolute sweetheart. She is the nicest person on this cast by far. Her strong suit is her is her honesty, excuse me. Her loyalty, she's very good with maneuvering. I played against her. She's very good at positioning herself once she's given a little bit of time, and making herself look like a non-factor. And those are great qualities to have. Her honesty, you will know exactly like what, if you just ask her like, hey, are you going to vote to save me? She will tell you. If like she's going to just straight up say like, either I'm thinking about it, I will tell you, I'll get back to you. Or like, yes, I know for a fact what I'm going to do. I'm saving you. I'm not saving you. And a lot of people appreciate that. I don't know if some people this season will won't appreciate it. But she doesn't do it in a way that's malicious. She just says, "I'm really sorry, but like I don't think I can save you." Like that's the type of thing that she'll do. And her social game is like her strategic game isn't always like perfect. She's usually around like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. Social game is always a 10 out of 10. Like she knows how to make herself look less threatening and still have everyone like her. She's just good.
she kind of has like this kindness thing to a fault, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah, basically. And I think that's just the way her life is. Like that's just how she's kind of gone through life. It's just she likes to be that kind of person, just to be nice to people. And this game, it might be a little different because this game is so fast-paced that it's hard to keep that nice mantra up. But I'm really hoping that she gets a little bit of time to just kind of show how she is to people, and so people can really appreciate who she is as a person.
I would like to see if she could be malicious.
I don't think she's a malicious bone in her body.
It's not in her blood, Nate.
No, it's really not. That's just not who she is as a person. But she's very good at making snap decisions to keep herself in a good position. So she may be nice, but she's very smart.
All right. And with that, let's go to our next contestant,
Regan.
Yes, Regan from the Prism Party.
Regan is someone that she's a super fan as well. She knows the show. She knows the game. We've been trying to get her to apply. We tried to get her to apply for season 2. She unfortunately didn't have the time for season 2. She didn't apply. But this season she did. We were very happy she did. And she was someone that we wanted to play big time. She's gonna cause some drama. She's one of the people that is being brought up as someone that could be a first boot, but I think she's playing her position well right now, because she's trying to play under the radar. She knows her reputation. People are saying like, oh, she can go crazy in past games if she's overstressed, or she's a very like people like her as a person, but like in games they have a hard time dealing with her. But I think she's taking the correct approach for her in this game.
Okay. I mean, she describes herself as being like dramatic and emotional. So will she like maybe take moves that people do like a little too seriously?
She has the potential, but if her head's in the game and she's playing and she wants to win this, I think she can do it. I might be putting maybe a little too much confidence, but I'm hoping Regan is another person that I'm hoping sticks around just because I think she's got a good head on her shoulders, and I think she's going to do well with what she's given.
All right. Do I think she's going to get far? I think she'll surprise us.
Yeah, I'm hoping she does. I really do.
Yeah. All right. With that, let's get to our next contestant.
Yep. So this is our last new player, and this is the only non-American new player of the season. Riley is from Australia. He is someone that I have a lot of respect for as a person. He is very likable, and he's playing a little under the radar because I think he knows how big of a player he can be. And can easily be a leader, but I think he kind of wants to take a step back at the moment and just kind of use whatever time he can use to just kind of assess the situation. He's kind of similar to Brian in the fact that he likes to he's very social, right. But he's not as successful as Brian.
You think he's more of like a late bloomer, like just relaxes early on and then builds it up later?
I think if he comes to the forefront early, it'll be because someone put him in that position.
Forced him out.
So I'm excited for Riley. I think he's going to be very smart. He's very methodical, and he's kind of the type of player that you'll know where you stand with him. Like, you'll know if you're close to him or not. Like, he will, if you're close to him, he will share all the information he has with you. If you're not close to him, he'll be very walled off and not like in terms of information. He'll be friendly, but he won't like share game information with you.
Okay, but would they know that, or will he be like make up something?
I don't.
Blunt about it, or
he's not someone that likes to lie. Based off my experience with him, he's not someone that likes to lie. He's capable of lying and he can be good at it. But it's going to be a little obvious. I think that I don't know if he has enough experience to know how to portray himself as trustworthy as someone that he does not feel loyal to.
Okay, so you can kind of like see it in his face then.
Not necessarily in his face, more just the way that he acts.
Okay, so body language.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Is extroverted Aussie, and he's in Australia like right now.
Yes, I believe he's currently asleep because we're filming in the middle of the day. But he is. Yeah, I am really excited to see Riley play because I think just the twists that we have in store for the game, I think that could benefit him a lot.
All right, and I'll be looking forward to those twists. All right,
we'll explain in a second.
Let's get on to
Alex and Max. Yeah.
So go ahead. You know these guys more than I do.
So the twist this season basically is we're splitting them up into two different parties, if that wasn't obvious before, the Prison Party and the Popularity Party. And for the first time ever, we're going to have 14 players in the system. However, the Prism and Popularity parties aren't like Survivor tribes. They're more along the lines of a group of individuals that come together to vote together type of thing. At the end of every round, kinda. But basically, the way the twist works is every round, they will vote for someone in their party to be their party representative in the mission. The party representatives of each party will face off against each other in the mission, and whoever wins is safe for the round. This is the first time we're doing safety in the system. So there's a lot at stake for people who want to be safe. And then they'll also earn 25 prisms. And on top of that, every single member of their party will earn 20 prisms each.
Ooh, that's pretty great. Pretty impressive.
It's very, very good for the winning party. On the flip side, if they lose, they get 0 prisms, and every single member of their party only gets 5 prisms. So it's a big disparity going in. So on top of that, during round 1 only, we're not doing a vote because we don't have enough time to do a vote. But basically, Max and Alex are the party leaders, so therefore they'll be the first party representatives, and they'll face off. But with some more higher stakes. The person that wins the mission will not only earn safety for themselves, but a safety for their entire party.
Ooh, hello.
Yeah. So they can't. So like 1/2 of the cast will be safe for the first round. And their popularity scores can be affected. That is a key thing here because that is important in winning the game and being safe later in the game, possibly in instant eliminations. But basically, they cannot be put in the chamber no matter how low their score is. So that'll be fun to see. If somebody tries to affect their popularity, I kind of want to see that happen and then have some freak out, like someone was targeting me and they want to hurt my game in the long term. So I think that'll be fun if somebody tries to do that.
So a nice little early strategic move that they could do.
Exactly.
It's fairly interesting. I like the idea of party leaders. I'm a political science guy. So I'm really big on all this Washington stuff, but party leader, having them have safety if they win, like after the first round, obviously. I think it's going to add a whole new twist to the game. It's this whole like risk and reward situation, and you're saying that the people actually vote for who they want to be party leader for the round, right?
Exactly. Also, if you're president, basically you win the mission. You cannot be president again unless everyone in your party has also been a president.
Oh, okay. That's unique.
Yeah. So basically, if you get president, that is the one time you're going to get it. That's probably what's going to happen is, so between Max and Alex, whichever one of them wins, more than likely they will not be president again. So they're so in a way, if the person that between them loses, if they can survive the first round, because it's a big target on their back, going into the first round, not having safety as a returning player,
right.
If they can survive the first round, I think they'll do. They have another shot at safety later in the game, which I think could be a big difference for them.
So really, there's a big benefit here of because if you're party leader and you lose, you get no prisms. Yeah. But if you're party leader and you win, you get the 25. So you really want to do it in like doing something you're really confident with. Do they are they going to know what they're doing?
But the only thing that we told them for the mission is that they need a deck of cards, and that's all I'm going to say. Okay. But basically they will be facing off, and all of our, as per the past couple seasons, all of our missions are directly correlated to the themes. So take with that what you will. But basically, whoever wins with that will be safe and earn a lot of prisms. But anyway, the way that it kind of worked with them is that they entered the game 24 hours ahead of time before anyone else. And they were put into a war room where they had to split up and do basically a snake like selection, where like one person would select someone first and the other person would select two, and then the first person would select two again and go back and forth like that until there was nobody else left. And they came up with a really cool plan to kind of like show that they didn't plan anything out, which you'll see when the first episode goes up. But their strategy for going to the game, I think, is smart in terms of as returning players. Individually, however, let's talk about how they're gonna do individual. We'll start with Alex, I guess. So Alex is in season 2. He's the leader of the prison party, and the reason why was because we picked these guys because of their history in the system and how they relate to the party. So Alex was very intelligent with his use of his prisms. He basically strictly used prison vouchers for the couple rounds he was in, and he had the best spending ratio while at the start of the game by far. Like he was at 0%, 0.01, something like that. And however, because of that, he didn't spend enough to keep himself in the game. But he also directly impacted the use of prisms for the rest of the game, because 5 seconds before he got eliminated, he transferred all of his prisms, which was a ridiculous amount because he came in at least second place in both the missions that he was a part of. So I think he had like well over 60 prisms, including like pots that happened last season. Wow. And he transferred them all to Adrian. And if you are familiar with the system, you know that Adrian basically created a monopoly of prisms by stealing everyone's prisms. So he created a whole crap ton of drama based off of that, based off of just simply transferring prisms. So he has a history of prisms, and that's why he's a leader of the prison party. Between the two of them, I think Alex is going to do a lot better.
Okay.
Just because he had a good idea of what it was, of how to play the first time. The issue was that he was the guy who would like to play the middle in a season where people punish the people in the middle. It was last season was very much the three of us versus #Team Sequester. And if you weren't with one of those teams, one of those sides, and they knew you were with one of them, you got screwed very early. So he was one of the people that tried to be friendly with both sides as much as possible, try to play the middle, and he got screwed because Team Sequester got onto him. They compared notes, and they're like, yeah, he's playing both sides. And they put him in the chamber single-handedly, and they got him out of the game. And he's just like, he was very bummed that he was out so early. About a week or so after after his elimination, we contacted him, said, like, do you want another try? And he's just like, yes, I want another try. I want to play again because that was bull crap. I want to play.
Redemption.
So, but Alex, he knows a couple of the people that are playing this in this season, and a couple of the applicants did message him while they were in the process before they got before they got cast, I'm asking him for advice for the whole like process. And he couldn't say anything. He notified us, and he couldn't say anything because he knew he was already casted. But it was basically he just said the way he's going about it, he's taking a more under the radar strategy at the moment. He's trying to minimize his target as much as possible, putting it on other people. And I think with the first day, the way the first day has been going, that is the correct strategy. So
and I think it'll be okay for both returning players, because it looks like a lot of the contestants haven't watched the system yet, and a few of them I've only seen a few of the episodes. Yeah. So it looks like there's only a few people that like know like all of the history from it.
Yeah, and a few of them did binge watch the episodes before the season started, so a lot of them are still more familiar than they were. But I don't think they really understood Alex's game, and I think that's a huge benefit to Alex. Versus Max. So Max was someone, he's the leader of the popularity party. And the reason why was because he was very popular with the rest of the cast, but he was a villain. He would be very friendly with everyone in the cast. No one thought he was a villain. Everyone thought he was very, very likable. Had he made it past the point that he got eliminated, I think he had a good shot at winning the game. A lot of people wanted to go far with him. Megan, Bryce, Ruben, all of them wanted to go to the end with him, and those were the rest of the final four, other than the person who won, which was Noah.
Damn.
And Max, the unfortunate part was just the way that the live night worked out for him. He wasn't the target. He wasn't someone that people wanted to see go. It was just because Joshua Felix that season said, I don't like it when people tell me what to do, so I'm just going to do something and try to take a shot at improving my chances. And just so happened that Max was the easiest shot for him to take, and to take single-handedly at least. And that's why Max got eliminated. And the reason why he ended up in the chamber was because his overall popularity was one of the 3 lowest in comparison to Zach and Noah. And so that's another reason why he was in he's the leader of the popularity party. On top of that, because of the fact that he was so popular with the rest of the cast, his elimination drastically affected the dynamics of the game. For one, Noah's biggest competition in the game was gone. So that definitely affected who won. And on top of that, everyone was so mad at Joshua, not specifically for the fact that Joshua flipped on them, but more of the fact that they flipped on them and eliminated Max in the process. So Max being removed from the game drastically affected him. That's why he is the leader of the popularity party. As for his chances, basically he came into the game saying, I want to play exactly like I did the first time. Because he played well. He played very well, despite being eliminated early. And
you're not supposed to say that.
Yeah. But you never want to play the same exact way. And I'm very this is pre-game, mind you. I was very nervous heading into the first day with him, because I think that people are going to get onto him, especially the super fans. Bill specifically is on to Max. He knows Max is a good player, and he knows what Max is like in the confessionals. So he's on to Max. He knows what Max is about. But seeing him play, my nervousness for him has drastically decreased.
Oh, that's good. He turned it around.
He has turned around a little bit, but it's still, I wouldn't say, if he went out pre-jury, I would not be surprised. I'm going to say that. Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, we'll see who wins the first mission.
I'm hoping Max does well, because I like him for entertainment value, and I think he's a great player. But I'm not confident.
Well, as long as he's confident, that's fine.
That's all he needs. But yeah.
I don't, Max. I believe in you. Don't worry.
but yeah, so that's the entire cast. And before we wrap this up, I do kind of want to hint at something that's to come in the game. One, this is probably going to be the hardest season of the system yet, by far. It is going to be drastically different from the first two. And while the contestants don't know this yet, because this is day one, we do have a couple more twists for them that are going to drastically affect the game. One of which is a brand new power that is in the game, and they don't know it's in. None of them know it's in the game yet. Whether or not they're lucky and find it, that's up to them. But eventually,
is it possible no one can find it?
It is possible no one could find it, but we eventually, within the middle of the game, will probably just give them a hint, like, hey, there's power in the game. Go ahead and start searching for it. Because the way that the way that it's being distributed this season is a bit different from the past two. So, yeah. Yep. All right. But, yeah, so thank you, Paul, for conducting this interview.
Cast analysis.
Yep.
And I didn't talk too much this time around, but I'm going to be watching this season, and we'll probably do episode breakdowns when the episodes are released. So I'll have a little more to say at that point when I understand everything a little better and I can actually see people in action. I'll have a little perspective then on where everyone's coming from.
All right, so
I'm excited for it.
With that, that's it for this interview, and see you later, contestants and viewers.
Peace.
Peace.